How can you kill a corpse? Tell me.
Why, cheers, people. Here we just rolled through Trailer Park Hotel. September, ninja stores. Right there.
Deep down in Louisiana, close to New Orleans, way back up in the woods among the evergreens, there stood a log cabin made of earth and wood, where lived a country boy named
the most beautiful.
Can I help you?
Coffee.
There's no coffee here in Nilbog. It's the devil's drink.
out with your friends all night, alone and only night. I'd watch the Outer Limits, scared out of my mind. I wonder if you felt the same the days before you died.
Ghoultown.
Believe in the boogeyman?
Rue Morgue Radio, the world's original all-horror broadcast.
Always embrace the hellfire! Hellfire! Hellfire!
Hey, welcome to
Rue Morgue Radio. Welcome to the show, the Weird Wide Web's best horror broadcast. Thanks for tuning in.
Why, hello there.
I'm your host, your draconian dealer of undead dread, Tomb Dragonier.
You see, he isn't alive or dead, but undead. Isn't that funny?
That's delightful. This week on the broadcast.
I just love vampires. I think that they're really fascinating. They're really the only supernatural monster that seems to have power over us. They are the predators and we are the prey.
Yes, it's horror novelist and editor of Evolve Vampire Stories of the New Undead, Nancy Kilpatrick joins us. Our blood-spattered guides talking to Rue Morgue's own Trevor Tuminski about those hymns from the House of Horror.
All right, this is it. Let's rock.
And it's Joan Wars 3D as the Caustic critics whip out their guitars from Mars to take on the Banshee.
Only a fucking chone would sit through this movie.
So what are we gonna do? Are we just gonna give up?
Hell no, we're not gonna give up. We're gonna get serious. We're gonna stay together, and we're gonna use our earplugs. And that's key.
Sounds from 6 feet under the ground. This week we've got Rammstein, the country Teasers, Alice Cooper, Forbidden Dimension, plus so much more fun to come. It should be illegal.
The ancient blood, so you have made him your slave. If I could get my hands on you, I'd break your dried flesh to pieces. But your power is too strong. This is the evil force that has been attacking us. Burn the scroll, man. Burn it! To show you this horror came into existence. It's true.
Let's go with the Spook the Undead Call on Rue Morgue Radio, your home for horror, rock, and roll. Answer your telephone. Answer your telephone.
When it burns
Dracula was a dilly, playful and all like that, but not quite sure of his effect on humanity. That darling little bloodlusting vampire little realized his satanic power. Even Dracula's music cast an evil spell. It was too much to take. It was horrible.
Humans are farmed for blood.
What happens when there isn't a drop left?
Now,
hang on.
Hell breaks loose. Ethan Hawke, Willem Dafoe, Daybreakers. Fly at May 11th.
Hi, I'm Masha, and you're listening to Rue Morgue Radio.
25 years ago, in Transylvania, they tried to stop me. I can still hear the stake going through my heart as I lie in my coffin. Listen, you will hear it too. It brings back bad memories to think of this. But then my friend Dr. Frankenstein, he came, removed the stake from my heart, and I am free to roam. So tonight, when you go to bed, remember, if you hear the flapping of wings, you will know I am outside your door.
Just stop the f***ing spitting.
Alright, so first of all, what is the state of the Church of Satan? I was going to ask you about Wes Craven, and now I'm ashamed to.
Les Messman style.
Possibly the Antichrist. Like a zombie character on Sesame Street. All of a sudden it seems so irrelevant. Continue.
I speak nothing but the fucking English language. And if that's infamous, then tough titters.
Alright, this is Feedback, and my guest this week is author Nancy Kilpatrick, Canada's literary queen of the undead. She's edited a new anthology of short stories by Canadian horror writers who attempt to explore fresh new tangents within the vampire subgenre. The book is entitled Evolve, Vampire Stories of the New Undead, and it's available now on Amazon.com. The first thing I want to ask you is, what was it that got you seduced into the vampire subgenre?
Seduced is probably the right word. As a kid, I used to watch all the black and white movies, Bela Lugosi, Gloria Holden, all of those people doing their vampire thing. And that was just the most fascinating stuff that I could find to watch. I just loved horror. And as I got a little bit older, I ran in at some point to Christopher Lee in The Horror of Dracula. And that was so powerful and so sexy. I just thought, oh, this is it. This is it.
Count Dracula. I am Dracula, and I welcome you to my house. I must apologize for not being here to greet you personally, but I trust that you have found everything you needed. Well, thank you, sir. It was most thoughtful. It was the least that I could do after such a journey. Yes, it is a long journey.
From there, I know that you went to explore all of the early vampire literature.
Yeah, I went to extremes. I started reading everything that had been written. I started back in the 70s, so I have a lot of books now. I've got about 2,000 books of pretty much everything that's been written about the vampire in fiction, some nonfiction, film, art books, things like that.
So what continues to fuel your obsession with the subgenre?
I have no life. I'm a sick person. I don't know. Basically, I just love vampires. I think that they're really fascinating.
Vampires have always fascinated me. They should. Their intelligence is far superior to humans. Is it true that vampires must be in their resting places before the sun rises?
I always get back to two things. One is the archetypal energy, which is that they are the predators and we are the prey. The other thing is that because we are considering ourselves the highest on the food chain, that's just not so when you get to vampires. And they're really the only supernatural monster that seems to have power over us. You don't get that with the werewolf so much. Zombies, okay, but you shoot them in the head and it's all over.
All right, man, hit him in the head, right between the eyes. Good shot. Okay, he's dead. Let's go get him. That's another one for the fire.
Vampires are harder to dispatch. They're intelligent creatures, and you have to come up against something that you may not win. So that's what I like about it, is there's a challenge there.
Could you talk about how the vampire subgenre has evolved through literature from its early origins? What are some of the key turning points to bring us into the contemporary age?
Yeah, vampires at the beginning, they were pretty much the upper class because that's who was reading books. And so it was people who were writers writing to the upper class. They were probably part of the upper class, and they were writing about vampires who were upper class, preying on its own class. And that's what was done. That's changed a lot over time. Now we have the vampire in a lot of ordinary circumstances, ordinary looking people who are not actually people. Right now, it has turned into a more young adult focus on vampires with things like Twilight, not so much the True Blood books written by Charlaine Harris, but certainly Twilight, and there's many, many, many young adult books out there now. I mean, the shelves are just crammed with them. I've heard, this called the good vampire, a good boyfriend, who's really the guy who will stare into your eyes and always be there to protect you and the whole thing. And what makes him a vampire besides his teeth, which he's not using anyway?
A vampire should be a silent predator of the night, not some guy you friend up with in MySpace.
Because I've been such a collector of books and a reader of books and watcher of films, I very much know where the vampire has come from and where it is now. And I always had the feeling of, this could be more, this can go somewhere. When I had the chance to do the book, to edit this book, that's what I wanted from the writers. And I really got on them and said, okay, you've got to look at some of the past stuff. You've got to see what's happening now. You have to think about what can go into the future from what's happening now. That's the only thing that's interesting, because we need to move on. Let's see where it's going to go.
So can you give us an idea of the kind of stories in this anthology that have pushed the boundaries of vampirism?
There's really all kinds of stories. There's a lot of ordinary situations where you wouldn't expect to find a vampire, like on a bus in Calgary.
Blood-curdling, I'd say. Author Bram Stoker knew whereof he spoke when he wrote, "The blood is the power."
There are stories that are not all set in Canada. There's one set in Japan about a mythology there and what happens to someone who is a regular modern Canadian who is visiting Japan or living in Japan temporarily, who is seduced by that situation and how it affects that person who is not part of the past but part of the present. There's a very aggressive stories. There's really some that are quite visceral in terms of the vampire being aggressive and how they are with one another and how they are with humanity, to the point where you're just shaking in your boots as you read it.
Hey, take it easy, man. We're done here anyway.
We're just getting started.
There are other ones that are kind of mental, almost swordplay that's mental.
It's mental.
You read it and you just think, yeah, this is really interesting how this is going. But it's all, what I like about it is these are vampires you haven't seen before. They're not the usual vampires.
So we've had a bit of a resurgence, well, not a bit of a huge resurgence of the vampire subgenre in popular culture in recent years. I think after a time where vampires seem to kind of slip into the shadows for a while. Obviously, Twilight was a big factor in that, but I was wondering if you had any insight into why vampires have seemed to have come around again and why they're so popular today.
I think the vampire has always been in human psyche. Almost every culture in the world has come up with a vampire mythology. And the first vampire was mentioned 2500 BC in the Epic of Gilgamesh. That's a long time ago. That's 4,500 years ago. We're talking about an energy that has been with us and that people have plugged into. The vampire tends to manifest, to me, in terms of the culture that it's in at any given time. Right now it's Twilight and even True Blood and that type of material. If you think back to the 70s when Anne Rice wrote Interview with the Vampire, that was another surge of the vampire coming into popular culture because it taps into something in the psyche that is of the now. So the vampire is really eternal. It's an archetypal energy in my view, and it's just sitting there waiting, and every once in a while it just comes around that somehow the vampire is important to people at any given time. We'll see a different vampire in the future.
For more information about the anthology, visit the website at www.vampires-evolve.com.
Thanks, feedback. We've got Shannon coming up, so stay tuned for that. Here's the Vampire and Werewolf Experience. I want to be a vampire on Rue Morgue Radio that doesn't suck.
Well, I want to be a vampire for lots of reasons. Where should I begin? I guess I'll start with that shiny, sparkly, silvery skin. Girls love to see me when I'm out in the sun. They say, hey, vampire boy, let's have some fun. I want to be a vampire. I never have to rest. I spend my nights just spying on girls as they get undressed. One day I'd meet a girl like Bella Swan who didn't think what I was doing was wrong. I'd say, Bella, I like to spy on you while you sleep. And she'd think it was cool that I was interesting and deep. We'd have a heck of a time, we'd fall in love, and then one day I would eat her blood. And she'd become a vampire like me. It would be so much fun.
Wow, all right, now it's time to see what's happening in the wonderfully wacky world of horror. Where is she? Oh, there she is. Hey, Shannon. What's happening?
If anybody has seen the Hillbilly Ninja, if you haven't seen it, first of all, I suggest you go to YouTube. But secondly, I think that would make a perfect job for Toom. He could be the Ninjetti. He could be the Hillbilly Ninja's Ninjetti, don't you think?
You got your Judy chomp, all right? You got your karate chomp, and you got your ninja chomp.
Hey everyone, I'm Shannon, and I've got what's happening horror-wise from around the world. A call for film video submissions for the return of the 2010 Midwest Sci-Fi Short Film Festival is on. Once again, the festival will be screening as part of the Convergence Science Fiction and Fantasy Convention at the Bloomington Sheraton Hotel Friday, July 2nd, 2010, beginning at 8:30 p.m. If you want official rules and an entry form, just go to convergence-con.org for more details. The National Haunters Convention is this weekend at the Valley Forge Convention Center in Pennsylvania. There will be booths, classes, contests, and a seminar that'll teach you how to make your own props. Tickets vary depending on the day you go and classes you want to attend. Go to nationalhauntersconvention.com. And the Weekend of Horrors event in LA will be May 20th to the 23rd with vendors, film rooms. Special guests include Dario Argento and Robert Englund, and more. There will be panel discussions on certain movies and a fashion show as well. Tickets for the entire weekend are just $69, but you can customize your tickets. If you want, just go to creationent.com. And if you know of something that's happening horror-wise and you want the whole world to know, send me an email, shannon@ruemorgueradio.com.
Shannon, thanks. The Force strong is within you, yes.
Don't go ninja, nobody don't need ninja. Alrighty? Let me tell you ninjas out there, this is not a game. Don't you be trying this at home on your kids or your dogs, okay? We got us 3 full fellas now. What we do is called a ninja pumping action. Alright, we get our nunchucks, we get our firm hold on our ninja nunchucking handles, and we get them humping.
Ah, damn it, my wooden teeth. Oh. Get out of here.
Alright.
Hymns from the House of Horror, free BSG tunes en route. Right after new music from Rammstein, Haifisch, the Shark on the Rue Morgue Radio.
Wir halten zusammen, wir halten miteinander aus, wir halten zueinander, niemand hält uns auf, wir halten euch die Treue, wir halten daran fest und halten uns an Regeln, wenn man uns regeln lässt. Und der Haifisch, der hat Tränen und die laufen vom Gesicht. Doch der Haifisch lebt im Wasser, so die Tränen sieht man nicht. Wir halten das Tempo, wir halten unser Wort. Wenn einer nicht mithält, dann halten wir sofort. Wir halten die Augen offen, wir halten uns den Arm. 6 Herzen, die brennen, das Feuer hält euch warm. Und der Haifisch, der hat Tränen und die laufen vom Gesicht. Doch der Haifisch lebt im Wasser, so die Tränen sieht man nicht. In der Tiefe ist es einsam und so manche Träne fließt. Und so kommt es, dass das Wasser in den Meeren salzig ist. Man kann von uns halten, was immer man da will. Wir halten uns schadlos, wir halten niemals still. Und der Haifisch, der hat Tränen und die laufen vom Gesicht. Doch der Haifisch lebt im Wasser, so die Tränen sieht man nicht. In der Tiefe ist es einsam und so manche Träne fließt. Und so kommt es, dass das Wasser in den Meeren salzig ist. Und der Haifisch, der hat Tränen und die laufen vom Gesicht. Doch der Haifisch lebt im Wasser, so die Tränen sieht man nicht.
First, the blackout filled our world, and now the darkness is upon us. And the darkness has spawned the Shaitan. Fools say the Shaitan are just people who are driven mad by the second blackout. They're wrong. The Shaitan can't be purified. We are at war, and the Shaitan must be stopped at all costs. Will you join us? Join the Brotherhood at www.medallionpress.com.
This is Bobby Calabrese from the band Calabrese, and you're listening to Rue Morgue Radio.
Look at the lights. I beg your pardon? Look at the lights. See how even they are. How regular. What a rhythm they have. Look at them. They're fascinating. You feel the soothing effect of them. You can feel the soothing effect relaxing you. Relaxing deeply. And as you look at the numbers, your eyelids are growing heavy. Very heavy.
The night is my domain.
Hello, I'm Liisa Ladouceur. I am your blood-spattered guide to music on Rue Morgue Radio. And this week, there is 100% more evil in the studio back here. Evil! A special guest to the program. He is the new associate editor of Rue Morgue magazine. Welcome, Monster Kids, Trevor TUMINSKI.
Hi, Liisa, and hello, Monster Kids. I am one of you.
So tell me, Trevor, I hear that you've had an interesting, sordid past. Where do you come from, and how did you end up in the chair here at Rue Morgue?
Well, I come from the frozen hellhole known as Winnipeg, Manitoba, and I was working as a radio copywriter about 15 years ago for rock radio. And then I accidentally got a record deal, and I signed to Network Records, which was the home of Skinny Puppy, and toiled in a band for about 10 years, I guess, called Jet Set Satellite. We were a mainstream rock band, and I started freelancing for Rue Morgue about 3 years ago once I moved to Toronto, and have now landed at the House of Horror full-time.
Once you're locked inside, they're not going to let you leave alive.
I'm a really sickened audiophile. I have thousands of CDs and vinyl. Some of my favorite albums that I can mention just off the top of my head, I really like Soundgarden, Bad Motorfinger. I love all the Danzig stuff. I'm into Typo Negative and old Metallica. Yeah, there's so much. It's I listen to all kinds of genres. Usually when someone asks me, I just tell them that I like good music.
Well, this is very handy because one of your tasks here at Rue Morgue is handling the Audiodrome section, which is the music part of horror and art and culture. What is your vision for taking the Audiodrome section to the stratosphere?
Well, I'd like to see some more musicians hit the cover, for sure. There's only been 2 or 3 over the magazine's history. You know, I'm always going to press Dave to include some things that are maybe not quite horror but are darker and that we all probably listen to.
Can I tell you how much I love it when Gourmet reviews metal records? It's awesome. Did you have a record that you discovered when you were a kid that turned you on to what we now call horror culture?
I'd like to have a cooler answer to this question, but I would say that Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Have you ever dressed up like Alice Cooper for Halloween?
No, I have dressed up like Gene Simmons, though.
Hi, this is Gene Simmons from KISS, wishing everybody a happy Halloween. Take off your masks. Much better without it.
I'd also love to do a King Diamond costume.
I look forward to seeing you at the upcoming Halloween party and see what you've come up with. But between now and then, you've been working on a top secret project for Rue Morgue, which we're going to announce here on the program to coincide with our 100th issue, which is on stands May 1st. Tell us about Hymns from the House of Horror.
When I first started here as associate editor in January, Dave and Rodrigo had expressed that they'd hatched the idea of doing a free downloadable compilation. So we got 17 of our favorite horror bands to contribute tracks, rare cuts, stuff they've hidden away in their musical attics, and we have this great collection of songs for everybody to download off RueMorgueRadio.com and RueMorgue.com. Who
are some of the bands on the compilation that people will be able to hear?
We got a couple of unreleased tracks from The Unsettlers and Creature Feature. We got tracks from Forbidden Dimension, Damn Laser Vampires, Balzac off Misfits Records. We got a great track called My Body's a Zombie for You from Ryan Gosling's project called Dead Man's Bones.
My body's a zombie for you.
You know, we're really hoping that it ends up being a success and that enough people downloaded it for us to warrant doing it again, because I see it as a start of something that could be potentially a great series of albums.
All right. Well, why don't we end off with Trevor's pick from the new Hymns from the House of Horror compilation. What song do you want to spin?
I chose Hand of Glory from Forbidden Dimension just because I wasn't really familiar with their music up until Toom suggested them for the comp, and I'm just blown away. I think the guy's got an amazing voice, just one of those classic voices like Rocky Erickson or Eric Burden from The Animals or John Fogerty. It's just one of those voices that sounds like it comes from somewhere else.
All right, well, you can get this song and many more tonight at midnight on rue-morgue.com and ruemorgueradio.com. Now here is The Forbidden Dimension on Rue Morgue Radio.
The star of The Wedding Crashers and Click, it's Cooking with Christopher Walken.
Well, how you doing? This is Christopher Walken.
And this is Vincent Price.
Hand of Glory. Ingredients. 1 hand of a felon. Take the right or left hand of a felon who is hanging from a gibbet by the highway. Wrap it in a bit of funeral pall, and very tightly so. Put it into an earthenware vessel with zimat, niter, salt, and long peppers, all very well powdered. Leave it thus for a fortnight, and then take it out and expose it to full sunlight during the dog days until quite dry. If the sun be insufficient, try an oven heated with fern and vervain. Next, make a candle with the fat of the gibbeted felon, virgin wax, sesame, and pony. Use the hand of glory as holder for this candle. The use of the hand of glory thus created is to render those to whom it is displayed into a stupefied and motionless state, in such a way that they can no more stir than if dead.
I buried my blood years ago to encourage the vine. I waited for something to grow and flourish with time. I counted each hopeful raindrop as it poured to its death. I dusted the mournful frost and warmed it up with my breath.
Last Chance Lance taking on a big scary Banshee coming up right after a classic cut from Alice Cooper. Not so classic cut, perhaps, from Zipper. Catches Skin. Tag, you're it.
Let's assume that he's the groom and he's been waiting to consummate all night. And you're the bride, you're locked tight inside the bathroom, and you're overcome with fright. Now here's the chiller, he's the killer you've discovered. You're trapped, alone, you're scared. We cut to you, we move in close, you're catatonic. You get a close-up there. And in this shot, here's what we got. He breaks the door down and tears your nightgown lace. You see a can, it's aerosol. You grab the hairspray and light it in his face. There's a very hungry man in the cellar. Waiting. Or is he in the attic closet? Waiting. Debbie, I like this game. Debbie. He blindly grabs you, tries to stab you, but you're quicker. You overact right here. You see a cat, a ball of yarn, a knitting needle. His vision's still not clear. He's stumbling around, don't make a sound, and then he grabs you. Hide and seek, my dear. He shoots his glance, you see your chance, you grab the needle and you plunge it in his ear. There's a very hungry man in the cellar. Waiting. Or is he in the attic closet? Waiting. There's a very hungry man in the cellar. Waiting. Or is he in the attic closet? Waiting. And just like the scene in Halloween, you think it's all over, and you're gazing into space. But you've got to make sure you hear something, you start to turn, and you're standing there frozen, staring him face to face. And he looks at you and says, "Tag, you're it, sweetie." Bye, Debbie.
Hello, children. This is Alice Cooper, and you're listening to Rue Morgue Radio, and you better listen, because I know where you live.
The Caustic Critic.
Controversial. Unrelenting, it's brutal, it's nasty.
Sensational. The worst of the worst. Offend everyone equally.
Bolding.
They're real. The stuffed shit scrapes off the bottom of its shoes. They're mean.
So what was the actor's name? Oh God, what a plank he is.
They're here.
Are you ready? It's time for the Caustic Critics. They're here.
Alright, this is feedback.
And this is Last Chance Lance.
We have good news and we have bad news.
Oh.
The good news is we're holding copies of Rue Morgue's 100th issue, the Black 100, one of the best editions of the magazine ever to come down the pike.
I'm holding it in one hand, and you can imagine what's in my other hand.
Bad news for you, buddy. So never date you, let alone fuck you.
The bad news is we let you pick the movie we're going to review this week.
Did we?
That's the last fucking time you ever get to pick what we're going to review. I got to put it into perspective. I said, Lance, what's going on? He said, well, I have all these Asian films I picked up at Pacific Mall. They're not even out here yet. I said, okay, that might be interesting. Lay them on me and let's see what we've got. So Lance shows up at my house with a stack of, I guess, films that wouldn't even, this is how sad this pile of films are, these films wouldn't even make your last rights column in the magazine. Oh. These would be rejected even by your own standards.
Oh, never say never, man.
So what the fuck is wrong with you? First of all, one of them came out a year ago on DVD, so that doesn't count.
Isle of the Damned, okay, yeah.
The other one came out in November.
Penance. I reviewed that one, so that is in the magazine. So
yeah, like what? Like last year?
No, this issue coming up.
Well, you're on glue. And the 4 Asian films that have unpronounceable titles that aren't even out here, you actually said, well, they're not very good.
Well, at least I didn't lie to you about it.
What is the point?
Well, the stuff I review usually isn't that good.
All right, so we've left with one.
The winner is
Banshee, which just came out recently on DVD.
Hold on. It's not Banshee. Read it correctly.
Banshee with 3 exclamation points.
Well, when I first got that, I put it aside going, I thought it said Banshee 3, like numeral 111 like that. So I would put it aside thinking I'm going to have to dig up the first 2 Banshee movies, but they're exclamation marks.
Oh my God.
Well, maybe I don't use my exclamation points as haphazardly as you do.
Oh my God, there will never be 3 of these movies. Synthetic Cinema International are the chones who've put this out.
Oh no,
on DVD.
I like this movie, dude.
This movie is unfucking believably terrible.
Oh no, you mean that you're being sarcastic, right?
No. I'm saying it's probably almost in the ballpark of, say, a Birdemic.
No.
Or a Troll 2.
They're eating her! And then they're going to eat me!
No, this is
Except it's not as much fun to watch.
Oh my God!
Oh, I thought it was a blast to watch, dude.
Are you on glue?
No, I'm not.
No, seriously.
I think that this is an amazing independent movie.
I'm just like...
I know, you're staring at me like...
into your eyeballs to see if there's any...
I really enjoyed
semblance of sentient activity.
I know, I feel like Chris Alexander here or something, but I really did enjoy this movie.
All right, that settles it. I mean, you not only have bad taste in films, you have pathologically bad taste in films. If you like this is honestly, only a fucking chone would sit through this movie. Only a chone would make it, only a chone would distribute it, and only a chone would title it with 3 exclamation points.
You're out of your mind, you know that.
What?
It's an exclamation point.
Well, then color me chone, because I liked it.
I'm surprised you're not editor-in-chief of Fangoria magazine.
Oh, that was taken up by the head chone. I'm just a minor chone in the big picture.
In 25 words or less, give us a plot synopsis.
A group of college students are terrorized by an ancient mythological Irish beast called the Banshee, which can change form and attack with sound.
I resent that you made it actually even sound better than it is.
I don't even know what he was talking about.
Some old Irish legend. Supposed to hear it scream before you die or something. My grandfather used to tell me about it when I was little.
Crazy old man.
Where to begin? Okay, first of all, it stars this chick, Ashley Bates, who trips around the entire movie in a red little tight tank top, and she's got these like huge
tracts of land. And yet she never disrobes. And I see that's how you judge a movie, whether you like it or not.
No, because the only saving grace in a movie this pitifully inept would be the little glimpses of flesh here and there. This movie doesn't even deliver on that front.
Because it didn't have to, because it had such a strong storyline and plot and some good special effects.
CG. Are you kidding? It's got a CG monster that would make the Asylum ashamed.
I like
the acting and the writing and the dialogue is as bad as it can possibly get. Lance.
Oh no, come on. You're being mean now for no reason.
It's like porn without the porn. And we would be remiss if we failed. And this is a plot spoiler, but I don't care. This is just too important.
No, don't do it.
Outlandish.
No.
There is a showdown between the Banshee and a guy playing a Stratocaster guitar.
When have you seen that before?
What is one of the most incredibly idiotic, flaccid, ridiculous, but not in a fun Troll 2 way. Excuses for a climactic battle sequence that I've ever seen.
Alright, this is it. Let's rock.
Rocker,
Hit it.
You know, honestly, man, this is one of those movies that, you know, you're just going to see on the shelf in the video store and just grab it and take it home. And it's going to, you know, it'll put movies like The Brain Damage and The Asylum Put Out to shame. It's fun. It's good for a laugh.
You having a laugh? Is he having a laugh?
Nice truck, Jack.
You can tear it apart or you can walk away loving it, but you should watch it.
And you know Lance won't steer you wrong, folks.
When have I ever steered anyone wrong?
All right, that's it from feedback. One final thing I just want to say. Congratulations to everyone at Rue Morgue on hitting 100 issues. It's a major milestone, and I think this edition of the magazine is a worthy tribute, especially because it's got an article by me in it.
Yeah, I don't have much in this issue, actually.
Well, I'm not surprised.
After this, I'm just pissed that I fucking sat there for 2 days going through 99 issues of the magazine, counting every vampire and zombie and ghost and ghoulie, and keeping track of all the numbers to use in the magazine as part of our stats, and they didn't even fucking use any of them.
It's true, right?
It's true, man. I really did.
And what did they say?
No thanks. We just want to use the covers. And then I had to share that byline with Jessa. Fuck. I'm not bitter.
Rue Morgue Radio.
Hey ho, have you heard about a show called Rue Morgue Radio? Weird waves in the Twilight Zone. Radio for ghouls, not radio for chums.
Radio for ghouls, not radio for chums.
Orally stunning.
Teasers, Devil on My Back, and that's it, fiends. I think we're out of time here on Rue Morgue Radio. Sad, I know.
No way, man. We're gonna keep on rocking forever, 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 forever.
Follow me on Twitter at TomDragomir, TOMDRAGOMIR. That's right, I know how to spell.
Even though I don't know what Twitter is and have no desire to find out.
Until next time, we're going to leave you with another cut from Rue Morgue Radio presents Hymns from the House of Horror. Get it right now at RueMorgueRadio.com and Rue-Morgue.com. Download away, fiends, download away. It's Balzac, Hurt. I've been and always will be TomDragomir. Thanks for listening, fiends. Adios.
Hey,
I hope this evening's presentation has taught you all to value your flimsy grasp on sanity. At any given moment, any one of you can snap!
Only a fucking chone would sit through this movie. Only a chone would make it, only a chone would distribute it, and only a chone would title it with 3 exclamation points.
Damn right.
Don't go ninja, nobody don't need ninjas.